4 world championships.
Sebastian Vettel, you are the world champion!
Du bist Weltmeister!
53 wins.
Sebastian Vettel is a Grand Prix winner!
And records that still stand to this day.
Yes, you did it! You did it!
On paper, Sebastian Vettel looks untouchable. But here's the question. Was Vettel truly one of the greatest drivers of all time? Or was his success built on driving the best car at the perfect time? Today, we're digging into his story. The glory, the struggles, and the dramatic decline that defined his legacy. Sebastian Vettel didn't just stumble into Formula One. From the age of 3, he was already behind the wheel of a kart, and by 8, he was competing in serious karting events. The talent was obvious. At just 11 years old, he joined the prestigious Red Bull Junior team, a huge deal for any young driver. Fast forward to 2007, Vettel got his big break. BMW Sauber called him up to replace the injured Robert Kubica at the US Grand Prix. And guess what? He delivered, scoring points on his debut and becoming the youngest driver to ever do so at the time. But it doesn't stop there. The very next year, with a full-time seat at Toro Rosso, Vettel pulled off something that still blows people's minds. At the 2008 Italian Grand Prix, in Monza of all places, and under torrential rain, he took pole position and won the race. That day, a 21-year-old Vettel became the youngest GP winner in history. The F1 world knew this kid was special. In 2009, Vettel joined Red Bull Racing, marking the beginning of an era of dominance. The team, led by design mastermind Adrian Newey, had built a car that revolutionized the grid with its aerodynamic brilliance and innovations like the blown diffuser. Vettel quickly showed he was the perfect driver to extract every ounce of performance from it. By 2010, the combination of Vettel and Red Bull was unstoppable. That year, in a dramatic finale at Abu Dhabi, Vettel clinched his first world championship, becoming the youngest champion in F1 history. But he wasn't done. Over the next 3 years, Vettel went on to dominate the sport, winning 4 consecutive world championships from 2010 to 2013. Along the way, he delivered some unforgettable performances. Remember the 2011 Spanish Grand Prix? Vettel fended off relentless pressure from Lewis Hamilton lap after lap to secure victory. Or the 2012 Brazilian GP, where he fought back from an early collision to finish 6th and seal his 3rd title in one of the most thrilling finales ever. Then came 2013, a season that redefined dominance. Vettel won an astonishing 9 consecutive races to close out the year, smashing records and leaving the competition in his wake. This period wasn't just about winning, it was about winning with style, precision, and consistency. Vettel became synonymous with domination, but as Red Bull's grip on the sport tightened, questions began to emerge. Could he maintain this level of performance without the perfect car? Or was this golden era entirely reliant on Red Bull's brilliance? Those questions wouldn't take long to be answered. In 2014, everything changed. The introduction of the hybrid era turned Formula One on its head, and Mercedes rose to dominance with a car that redefined speed and reliability. For Red Bull, it was a nightmare. Their Renault-powered car, the RB10, struggled to match the raw power of Mercedes' engines, and reliability issues plagued their season. Suddenly, the team that had been untouchable for 4 years was fighting just to stay in contention. And then there was Daniel Ricciardo, Red Bull's new recruit, stepping up from Toro Rosso, thrived in the new era. Ricciardo's fearless driving and adaptability shone, earning him 3 stunning wins in Canada, Hungary, and Belgium. Wins that Vettel, the reigning 4-time world champion, couldn't replicate. It was a shocking reversal. For the first time in his Red Bull career, Vettel was outperformed by his teammate, and not just occasionally, consistently. In 2015, Sebastian Vettel made a bold move that would define the next chapter of his career, joining Ferrari. For Vettel, this wasn't just another team, it was a dream come true. He had grown up idolizing Michael Schumacher, and now he had the chance to follow in his hero's footsteps and bring Ferrari back to the top. Expectations were sky high, and Vettel's first season delivered a glimmer of hope. He secured 3 brilliant victories, including a dominant performance in Malaysia, and finished third in the championship. It felt like the beginning of something special, a revival of Ferrari's golden days. But the road to glory was anything but smooth. By 2017, Ferrari had built a car capable of challenging Mercedes, and Vettel went head-to-head with Lewis Hamilton for the championship. Early in the season, he looked unstoppable, with wins in Australia, Bahrain, and Monaco. For much of the year, Vettel led the championship, and fans dared to believe that the title drought could finally end. However, the cracks started to show. In Singapore, a first-lap collision ended his race and shifted the momentum to Hamilton. Ferrari's reliability issues compounded the problem, and by the end of the season, Vettel was left empty-handed. 2018 started much the same. Vettel came out of the gates strong, winning 5 races in the first half of the season. Ferrari had arguably the best car on the grid, and Vettel was once again in the fight for the title. But then came Hockenheim. Leading the German GP in front of his home crowd, Vettel made a costly mistake in wet conditions, sliding off the track and into the gravel. It was a turning point in the championship battle, and a symbol of the mounting pressure. From that moment on, a series of errors, both his own and Ferrari's, eroded his title hopes. Mistakes in races like Monza and Japan further derailed his season, and Hamilton claimed the championship once again. By 2019, Ferrari's focus had shifted. The team brought in a rising star, Charles Leclerc, and suddenly, Vettel was no longer the clear number one. Leclerc's fearless driving earned him wins in Spa and Monza, 2 of Ferrari's most iconic tracks, and he finished ahead of Vettel in the championship. For a driver who had been the face of the team, it was a humbling experience. Tensions within the team grew, highlighted by a controversial collision between the 2 drivers in Brazil. Vettel's Ferrari journey came to an end in 2020, and it was a far cry from the dream he had envisioned. Ferrari's car was woefully uncompetitive that season, and Vettel was often left battling in the midfield. His struggles were evident, both on and off the track, and it became clear that his time with the Scuderia was over. Despite the lows, there were moments of brilliance. His emotional win in Malaysia, his dominance in Bahrain, and his relentless battles with Hamilton. Yet, those highs were overshadowed by missed opportunities and costly errors. Vettel had come to Ferrari to emulate Schumacher, but instead, he left with unfulfilled dreams and a legacy that would forever be debated. In 2021, Sebastian Vettel joined the rebranded Aston Martin team, a project filled with promise and ambition. For many, it was seen as a chance for Vettel to rediscover his spark after a challenging end to his Ferrari career. The team, backed by significant investment and lofty aspirations, seemed poised to climb the ranks of Formula One. Optimism was high, and Vettel embraced the challenge with renewed energy. There were moments of brilliance that reminded everyone of the champion he once was. The standout came at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, where Vettel delivered a masterclass in racecraft, navigating the chaos to secure a stunning second-place finish. It was Aston Martin's best result of the season, and a glimpse of what Vettel could still achieve when given the right opportunities. Another highlight came in Hungary, where he crossed the line second, only to lose the result due to a technical disqualification. Even so, it was clear Vettel hadn't lost his ability to deliver when the conditions aligned. However, those moments were few and far between. Aston Martin's car struggled to match the pace of the top teams, and Vettel often found himself battling in the midfield, a stark contrast to his days of Red Bull dominance. The team's ambitions were hampered by a lack of competitiveness, and for Vettel, it became increasingly clear that his best days were behind him. Despite his efforts, the results simply weren't there, and frustration began to creep in. By 2022, Vettel announced his retirement, marking the end of an era. His final season was a quiet one, filled with flashes of his skill, but overshadowed by the reality of an uncompetitive car. As he bid farewell to the sport, Vettel left behind a complex legacy. While his time at Aston Martin may not have added to his trophy cabinet, it highlighted a different side of him. A seasoned veteran racing for the love of the sport, mentoring younger drivers, and advocating for causes beyond the track. It was a humble yet graceful exit for a driver who had once ruled the world of Formula One. Sebastian Vettel's career is one of contrasts, a legacy of unparalleled highs and lingering questions. On paper, his achievements are staggering. 4 world championships, 53 wins, and countless records, including the incredible 9 consecutive victories in 2013. His dominance during the Red Bull years was nothing short of historic, cementing his place among the sport's most successful drivers. Few have reached such heights, and his ability to consistently deliver in those championship-winning seasons showcased his skill, precision, and racecraft. Yet, the criticisms are impossible to ignore. Much of Vettel's success came during a period when Red Bull had a significant advantage over the competition. The RB7, RB8, and RB9 were engineering masterpieces, and some argue that Vettel's dominance was as much about the car as it was about the driver. His struggles outside of Red Bull only fuel this debate. When the machinery wasn't perfect, like during the hybrid era at Red Bull or his final years with Ferrari and Aston Martin, Vettel often failed to shine. One particularly pointed criticism is his inability to win races from lower grid positions, raising questions about his ability to fight through the field like some of his greatest rivals. So, was Sebastian Vettel one of the all-time greats, or was his success a product of being in the right place at the right time? The answer might lie somewhere in between. But one thing is certain. His career has left an indelible mark on Formula One, and the debate over his legacy will continue for years to come. What do you think? Was Sebastian Vettel an all-time great? Or was his career built on being in the right car at the right time? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more F1 deep dives.